If you're an anxious person or an overthinker who has trouble sleeping, this video is going to show you 8 different sleep hacks that I use to get a good night's rest, and none of these has anything to do with fixing your anxiety or stopping your thinking. My name is Brian Elwood. I am a somewhat restless and anxious person. I drink coffee all the time. Despite all this, I somehow managed to get a consistent 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night. In order to pull this off, I've had to layer 8 different sleep hacks on top of each other. I'll share all of them here in case they help you, and if I mention a product in this video, I will put a link in the description. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to share the top 8 sleep hacks, and I'm going to reveal them in ranking order, starting with the 8th best all the way down to my number 1 sleep hack. Coming in at number 8 is food. Now, I've heard my mentors like Brendan Burchard say that you should definitely not eat anything for 3 hours prior to going to bed, and I started to notice that this disrupted my sleep as well. If I ate like a big burrito 1 hour before bed, I had like acid reflux and I was burping all night and I was thirsty, and then I had to get up to pee more often. And I found a study by the British Journal of Nutrition that stated that eating or drinking less than 1 hour before bedtime was associated with increased risk of wake after sleep onset. Now, I usually turn the lights out by 10 p.m., so I try to have my last bite of food around 7 or 7:30. Coming in at number 7 is hygiene. Now, I first heard about this from Sam Ovens, who mentioned that he always showers before bed every night because it's key to helping him get a good night's sleep. I kind of realized this was true for me as well. If I was like sticky at all, or if I had been sweaty that day, I definitely couldn't sleep well. And this idea of sleep hygiene not only refers to our bodies, but also to our sheets as well. I sleep better when I'm in clean sheets, and so I shower every night before bed and I wash my sheets every 2 weeks. Coming in at number 6 is white noise. My house makes all kinds of pops and thuds throughout the night, not to mention my wife might wake up to go to the bathroom, and I'm a really light sleeper, so all those little noises would wake me up all night long if I didn't have white noise. We use an air purifier for our white noise. Not only does it make a lot of noise, but it purifies the air while we are sleeping, and this is a game changer for me. I can't sleep without it. And I also found one study that found that 38% of people also fall asleep faster when they are listening to white noise. All right, coming in at number 5 is all about caffeine. Caffeine, coffee is amazing, but it also messes with our sleep, and here's why. Caffeine has a half-life of 8 hours. That means the amount of caffeine in your system is reduced by half every 8 hours that goes by. For example, if I drink my usual iced oat milk latte at 9 a.m., I will consume 120 milligrams of caffeine. 8 hours later at 5 p.m., I will still have half of that caffeine in my system, which is 60 milligrams. At 1 a.m., the amount of caffeine in my system will halve again. So at 1 in the morning, I'm tossing and turning in bed with 30 milligrams of caffeine still flowing through my system. And then again at 9 a.m. when I'm consuming my next oat milk latte and getting another 120 milligrams of caffeine in me, I'm still going to have 15 milligrams from that previous oat latte I drank the day before. This is how caffeine builds up in your tissues over time, because we never let it clear our system fully. And some people can handle this, but I can't. I personally sleep a lot worse when I have a lot of built up caffeine in my system. And so what I do is I switch to either half calf coffee or decaf or even cacao tea to really let my system clear itself of all the caffeine and kind of hit the reset button. All right, number 4 is exercise. The scientific answer to the question of how do I get more sleep is simply to be more tired, and exercise or movement accomplishes this better than anything. Now, you probably don't want to hear the advice that you need to go start jogging or something so you can get better sleep, but if you can at least commit to going on 1 or 2 walks per day, that will help. Exercising also just gives you more energy in general. What I currently do to exercise is I go to 3 Muay Thai or kickboxing classes each week. All right, coming in at number 3 is what we call sleep opportunity. This is a term that was coined by Matthew Walker in his best-selling book, Why We Sleep. And sleep opportunity refers to the amount of time that you give yourself to get that desired 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night. For example, if I had to wake up at 6 in the morning, I would need to go to bed at 10 p.m. to get 8 hours of sleep. But that assumes that I'm going to fall asleep instantly when I get in bed and sleep perfectly throughout the whole night. For me, it just doesn't work that way. I need 20 to 30 minutes just to fall asleep. And then I usually wake up to pee around 2 or 3 in the morning. And then I need another 20 or 30 minutes to fall asleep. So if I knew I had to wake up at 6 a.m., I would want the lights out no later than 9 p.m. to give myself the adequate sleep opportunity that I need to get 7 or 8 hours. All right, it's time to get into the 2 heavy hitters that will help you sleep better. Number 2 is light. And light is sort of a complex topic, so we're gonna hit this from a few different angles. We're going to talk about the light that's in your bedroom while you're sleeping, and we're also going to talk about the light that enters your eyeballs while you are awake. Melatonin is a hormone your body produces that helps you fall asleep. If you expose yourself to light after the sun goes down, your body will think it's still daytime, it will suppress the melatonin production, and you will have trouble falling asleep. For me, if I keep bright lights on in the house after the sun goes down, this only keeps me awake, and even worse, when I look at screens like my phone or my computer or the TV, they produce blue light, which not only suppresses that melatonin, but blue light is also the most stimulating of all the different types of light. But the truth is that Netflix and Hulu are awesome, right? So what I do when I want to watch shows and the sun's gone down, it's dark outside, is I put these bad boys on. These are blue light blocking glasses. This is like the most hardcore ones you can buy. They block up to 99% of blue light. So I'm able to sit there and look at the TV and watch a show without being stimulated and without suppressing my body's melatonin production. All right, the other big conversation around light is the light that actually comes through the windows into your bedroom when you're trying to sleep. And for me, the darker the bedroom is when I'm trying to go to sleep, the faster I fall asleep, and the darker it is in the morning, the better I can stay asleep. This is where blackout curtains come in, and they have been a lifesaver for me. And lastly, here's a cool tip about light. The more you get natural light during the day, like if you go on those couple of walks and you get outside, that suppresses your melatonin production when you want it to be suppressed, so that when you finally get into that dark environment and you're ready to get sleepy and go to bed, the melatonin really floods into your system because it was suppressed and built up throughout the day. On the flip side, if you spend your whole day working in this dark cave, your body is confused by the darkness. It thinks it's maybe time to go to sleep, so it produces more of your melatonin during the day, making you sleepy when you don't want to be. So in summary, expose yourself to as much natural light as possible during the day, and expose yourself to as little artificial light as possible during the night. All right, it's time for my number 1 sleep hack, and stay tuned after this one because I'm going to also give you 3 bonus tips that I think you're going to love. My number 1 sleep hack comes down to temperature. I simply cannot sleep if I'm hot. If I'm tossing and turning and I'm sticking my feet out at the end of the covers all night long, I'm just gonna get a bad night of sleep. Now, I used to live in a house where the master bedroom was in the basement. We didn't have kids. We could keep the heat on 60 degrees in the winter. So it was probably 55 degrees down in that basement bedroom, and I slept like a baby. I could sleep under this thick, heavy down comforter, and I was completely fine with my temperature. So I slept great in the freezing basement, but then in the morning I would have to shiver as I ran up to crank the heat back up. And then in the summer, it wasn't really sustainable because we basically had to destroy our air conditioning unit in order to keep the house at 60 degrees. And then we had a baby, and so there was no way I could keep the house that cold anymore. And so we had to find a different solution. And I always thought it was dumb that I had to cool off my entire house just so this one area of the house, my bed, would be at the temperature I wanted it to be. And I wished there was a way to just cool off this area and nothing else. And I found something that did just that. It's called a bed jet. The bed jet is this little unit that lives under my bed. There's a pipe that connects to a double-sided sheet So there's 2 sheets sewn together and a pocket in the middle. The air goes in between the 2 sheets and passes over my body. It also comes with a remote that allows you to control the temperature. Now these things are in the $400-ish range, and you do have to pay for the sheet as well, but it's the best sleep investment I've ever made. Major sleep studies have found that the ideal temperature for your bedroom is around 65 degrees. So I highly recommend looking at some ways to keep your bedroom cooler. Now, as promised, here's 3 rapid fire tips that will help you sleep even better. Number 1 is breathe right strips. These things just open up the airways in my nose. I can breathe better, helps me sleep better. I love them. Number 2 is high quality bedding. You actually spend 26 years of your life in your bed. So I think there's really no better way that you can invest your money and then buying the most comfortable bed that you can find, the best sheets, you know, the perfect pillow. I don't believe in skimping on a little pallet that you're gonna spend 26 years of your life on. For me, it makes sense to put some of your first dollars towards making this the best. And the last one, if you're a very light sleeper like me, is sleeping on 2 separate beds. Now, as you can see here, we have 2 separate beds that are pushed together. Yeah, it looks weird. It's not my wife's favorite thing, but we've gotten used to it, and I can tell you, when you don't feel somebody moving all night long, it's a game changer. It really can help you sleep. And one thing you can try if you don't want to go the 2 separate beds route is you can do 2 sets of blankets, so you're at least not feeling that movement when your partner's pulling on their blanket. One of the biggest reasons I want to get better sleep is so I can wake up and achieve my goals. If that's you too, then you might want to check out this video I recently made called the 2-year rule, where I share the framework that I've used to help me achieve my goals a lot more predictably. I think you'll love this video called the 2-year rule, and thank you guys for watching.